As the final race of the 2024 season approaches, there's no shortage of excitement. Sure, the driver's champion has already been decided, but that doesn't mean we're lacking drama. Far from it. There's still a massive showdown brewing that could keep us on the edge of our seats. The battle for P1 in the Constructors' Championship, the emotional farewell of Lewis Hamilton, and the possibility that several drivers might be racing in their last ever Grand Prix, these are the storylines that will truly make Abu Dhabi unforgettable. Even though we hoped for a more competitive finish to the driver's title, the battles on the horizon are enough to keep us glued to the screen. From the McLaren-Ferrari rivalry to the fierce fight for P2 in the driver standings, the intensity will be off the charts. Not to mention, the future of some legendary drivers is on the line, which adds even more emotion to this already dramatic finale. So, as we gear up for this exciting race, let's dive into what's at stake and what we can expect from the season's final showdown. Now, let's talk about the track itself. Abu Dhabi's weather is expected to be just like every year, hot and dry, but the real question lies in how the conditions will affect the performance of the cars. With the track's high traction and long braking zones, teams will be running the softest tire compounds available, from C3 hard to C5 soft. This choice will add an interesting twist to the race, especially with the expected track evolution during qualifying. While tire wear usually isn't a major issue here, the balance between downforce and tire stress will definitely make for some interesting strategies. McLaren and Ferrari, both teams known for their incredible speed, are set to deliver top performances. But with McLaren seemingly a step ahead this season, Ferrari will have their work cut out. However, Ferrari's team principal has already stated that they're more focused on finishing strong in Abu Dhabi, with no intention of looking back on missed opportunities from earlier in the season. As the battle intensifies, we also have to consider Hamilton's own motivation. The seven-time world champion is still hungry for that fifth victory at this track, which would put him in the exclusive club of drivers to achieve that feat. But will McLaren or Ferrari come out on top in the final race of the season? Let's see how this thrilling battle unfolds. Now, while the top teams are fighting it out, the midfield battle is heating up as well. Alpine has been on a strong run recently, with solid performances in Brazil, where they scored a double podium and a fifth-place finish in Qatar. These results have moved them up to P6 in the Constructors' Championship, and there's still a chance to finish even higher. Alpine's team knows that every point counts, especially with the tight race between them, Aston Martin and Racing Bulls. The difference between these teams? A lot of money, around $10 million per spot in the standings, which means the pressure is on. Speaking of Racing Bulls, they've got their own drama going on. There's a lot at stake for both Ocon and Lawson, who are fighting for a seat with the team for 2025. Their performances in Abu Dhabi could very well decide who gets the nod for the coveted spot. There's talk that Lawson might have the edge, given his ties to the Red Bull Academy, which could play in his favor as the team looks to replace Perez. Meanwhile, Ocon isn't exactly giving up, and his battle with Lawson will add even more fuel to an already intense midfield fight. And then there's the possibility of a major shakeup for the 2025 season. If Racing Bulls chooses to go in a different direction, someone like Lawson could find himself in the hot seat for the future. But for now, it's all eyes on Abu Dhabi, where every point could make a huge difference. But let's shift gears and talk about the most emotional part of the weekend, the farewell of Lewis Hamilton from Mercedes. It's hard to believe that this season could mark the end of an era, with Hamilton parting ways with the team he joined back in 2013. That move, once seen as a bit of a gamble, turned out to be a brilliant decision that led to 7 world titles and countless milestones. But after the struggles of the past few seasons, particularly with the new regulations, Hamilton has made it clear that his time with Mercedes is coming to an end. Hamilton's departure marks a turning point, not just for him, but for Mercedes as well. The team that dominated the sport for nearly a decade is now facing a major rebuild, and with the new 2026 regulations just around the corner, the team has a lot to prove. Hamilton, in his own words, has admitted that he's not sure Mercedes can give him the tools to win another championship. His last race with the team, while likely to be bittersweet, will be an emotional one for fans and for Hamilton himself. But it's not just Hamilton's future that's uncertain. There are also a few other drivers who may be facing their final race of their careers. Drivers like Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon, who have had their share of ups and downs, are in a similar boat. The racing world is full of surprises, and we might see some unexpected retirements or seat changes as we head into 2025. Now, speaking of drivers on the edge of their careers, Valtteri Bottas has had a rough year with Alfa Romeo, and the team's struggles haven't helped him prove he still has what it takes. The team has been more or less at the back of the grid, with their first points only coming in the final stages of the season. Bottas, known for his calm demeanor and experience, admitted that it's been difficult to find his rhythm in such a challenging environment. But despite the frustration, he's remained philosophical about his journey. He's found a sense of peace, knowing that it's not always about following strict guidelines or proving something to others. Instead, it's about enjoying the ride and staying true to himself. There's even talk of Bottas potentially making a return to racing, though the rumors are still just that, rumors. Andretti has reportedly shown interest in bringing him on board for 2026, and even Red Bull has been mentioned in the mix. But for now, Bottas seems content to enjoy life outside the pressure cooker of Formula One, while still keeping an eye on potential opportunities. Whether he'll return to the grid is anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure, he's not going to disappear quietly. Meanwhile, his teammate, Zhou Guanyu, has also struggled in 2024, failing to find his groove after a challenging start to the season. As the season comes to a close, he'll need to make a big statement if he wants to secure his place in Formula One for 2025. There's always the possibility of a reshuffle in the driver lineup, and with several new faces looking for opportunities, the competition is fierce. As we head into the final race of the season, Abu Dhabi promises to be full of surprises. While the title battles might be settled, there are plenty of storylines still to unfold. Will McLaren or Ferrari finish the season on top in the Constructors' Championship? Can Hamilton achieve his dream of winning a fifth Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? Or will we witness an emotional send-off as he says goodbye to Mercedes after over a decade with the team? And don't forget about the midfield battle. Alpine, Aston Martin, and Racing Bulls will be fighting tooth and nail for every point, with a lot of money and future contracts on the line. For drivers like Ocon, Lawson, and Bottas, this race could very well decide their future in Formula One. It's a race that will determine careers, legacy, and the direction of some of the biggest teams in the sport. As fans, we might find ourselves holding our breath, knowing that this is not just any race, it's the one that closes out the chapter on 2024 and sets the stage for 2025. So, as the engines roar and the lights go out, we'll all be watching closely, knowing that this final race will have a lasting impact on the future of Formula One. And with that, the season will come to a close, but the conversations, the emotions, and the rivalries will live on. Who do you think will come out on top in Abu Dhabi? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're interested in more F1 news, don't forget to check out our next video. Thanks for watching, and see you at the next race. As the final race of the 2024 season approaches, there's no shortage of excitement. Sure, the driver's champion has already been decided, but that doesn't mean we're lacking drama. Far from it. There's still a massive showdown brewing that could keep us on the edge of our seats. The battle for P1 in the Constructors' Championship, the emotional farewell of Lewis Hamilton, and the possibility that several drivers might be racing in their last ever Grand Prix, these are the storylines that will truly make Abu Dhabi unforgettable. Even though we hoped for a more competitive finish to the driver's title, the battles on the horizon are enough to keep us glued to the screen. From the McLaren-Ferrari rivalry to the fierce fight for P2 in the driver standings, the intensity will be off the charts. Not to mention, the future of some legendary drivers is on the line, which adds even more emotion to this already dramatic finale. So, as we gear up for this exciting race, let's dive into what's at stake and what we can expect from the season's final showdown.